Okay, sir. Hello and Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I, Ramesh Fatma, welcome you all to the OMICRON Training Network session on Statement of Work. The honorable speaker joining us today is Mr. Abdul Aziz Khan. He is currently working as a volunteer in Project Management Institute and is a certified project manager. His versatile field of experience includes working as a transmission planning engineer, PTCL, and specialist in Telenor. Senior Engineer Planning in Emirates Integrated Telecommunication Company, DU, technical consultant in Mobily and transmission team leader in Nokia. Part B of the question answer session will commence after a break of 5 minutes at 4:40 p.m. I request you all to kindly mute your mics unless you have a question. Now I request our honorable speaker to initiate this session.
Ji, assalamu alaikum. I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. The one who were present in the last lecture as well, they should remember that last time we have reached to this slide. Last time we gave you a small introduction of PMI and what is PMBOK, the book which the guideline book from Project Management Institute. And then we reach to this PM grid. This PM grid is, you can say that this is a very crucial in the whole jargon of project management, because in this single slide, it gives you a full essence of what a project manager is required to do during the whole life cycle of the project. So I will just rephrase or make a small, you can say, a background of the last one, that in the project we have 5 process groups, or we can say that a project life cycle is consistence of at least 5. Uh, we cannot call them a kind of milestone, because sometimes 2 of these process groups, they are started or initiated at the same time. Like for example, this monitoring and control, this thing is working all over the whole project life cycle. So that's why there is no start or not an end of these things. And inshallah, maybe some of you who are still a student, they have not seen any real life scenarios, like they have not gone through any projects. To them, it should be looking like this subject is, you can say, for them, they don't feel that it's very useful to them. I just want to tell them that if you really study project management, uh, it will help you even in your daily life things, because project management is not just to manage a very large project. Even if you are living in your home and you are just a normal person, even in your life, you go through many projects. But because we don't think of them as a project, so we just go through them without any planning or anything. Otherwise, just for example, I mean, if you have to construct a house, or if you have to buy a car, or if you have to do anything which is a big, a bit bigger in nature, it involves some good level of finance. It involves some good money, and it has some start time, some end time. Then this is also a project. So by project, we should not think that a project happens only in some companies or some big companies, or like in telecom or banking or real estate sector. Those are also projects. I mean, those are also projects, but we are all going through different projects in our life. And you may have seen some people that when they are doing anything, I mean, their things goes usually very smoothly. I mean, because they have adopted, you can say, some project management skills in their own. I mean, they are not, maybe they are not certified project managers, but they have learned how to do things with some standard procedures. So even if they will go for a small shopping, then they will have some kind of list, and they will do some check marks, and they will check two, three things, and they will decide based on some reason. So even you can live a project manager life. I mean, this is not bad. I mean, this is very good. Even if when I was preparing for my project management exam, I mean, in 2011, and I studied project management for 6, 7 months. So at that time, even I related project management to some of the aspects of Islam as well. I mean, in project management, there are some things that we have to be punctual. We should be trustworthy. We should not lie to anyone. We should not make false promises. So even project management is, in some way, it's very near to our religion as well, or it's very near to a normal ethics, how a person should behave in a general manner. So this was just a, you can say, a kind of extra. I went in some other site, but my point was that project management is not something which is only related to some study and then you just leave it. It's not like that. It's not a subject that you are taking in your bachelor's. You are taking 56 subjects. So there are some subjects that you just pass for no reason. I mean, so it's, if you want to study project management, it comes to your mind and it reaches your mind in a way that you like it, then it will help you wherever you are. I mean, project management can help you in anything. But yes, if you don't even still don't understand project management, then maybe you should take some more courses. It will help you, inshallah. So let's get back to our today's main topic. Our main topic today was statement of work. So we will not, you can say that we will not go in these knowledge areas one by one like we discussed last time. We have for this today's class, we have taken one small aspect which I feel that it's very important for us, uh, even in if we are in project management or if we are in any kind of things. If we do anything in the world, if we understand this statement of work correctly, this will also help us in a lot of other things. So first, let me give you a small uh, introduction of what is a statement of work. Let open this. So SOW or statement of work. If we go in the definition, okay, I hope this page is visible to everyone. This is the definition of a statement of work as per the PMBOK, PM Project Management Body of Knowledge. So, a statement of work is defined as a narrative description of products, services, or results to be delivered by the project. So, in simple ways, whatever we have to deliver as part of a project, it should be quite clearly written in a statement of work. So, statement of work as per project management guidelines, it comes under procurement planning, because when you are doing any procurement related issues, then you have to have a very specific BOQ that, okay, for example, just like I gave you one example that like buying a home. But if we take example from the telecom side, for example, if you are going to deliver some project, this project should be very clearly defined that, okay, as a part of project, I have to deliver this one, two, three, four, five things. Because the problem that happens once you started something, and then, for example, you are on the operator side, you make a statement of work and you gave it to your vendor. Once he started delivering, and then you came to know, oh, oh, for the smooth running of my project, I need to add these two, three things as well. For example, if we have bought some, for example, if we are going to expand our um, anything like for SMSC, we are expanding the SMSC. We want to reach to more customers through SMS. And then we came to know suddenly that the license that we ordered for the SMSC is only for sending 5,000 SMS per day. And 5,000 became a very small number, and then now we have to change the number. So when you are making a statement of work, at the time of planning, the statement of work should be made while keeping while keeping everything in mind. I mean, that okay, we are doing this work need exactly these things, and we should go as per the statement of work. So that the person who has to deliver the project, he also knows very well that okay, I have delivered the project. He should have a kind of checklist that okay, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did these four, five things, and now the project is delivered from my side. So a statement of work is a legal document as well. If because of any reason, if you are doing a project and you think that as per my project, I had to deliver these four things, and the other party they are saying that as per their understanding, you have to deliver five things. So there should be some common document that should be referred by both of the parties. That common document is your statement of work. For a vendor or for someone to whom a project is being assigned, this statement of work is a part of project charter as well. When we will go in good detail of this, all the knowledge areas, then we will see that this project initiation, which is part of integration, with a project charter. And in a charter, someone from the higher management, a charter is a kind of small document in which someone from the higher management, they put a very few things. I mean, that they say, okay, this is the project. I mean, we have to, for example, like I mentioned that, for example, we have to expand the SMSC of a telecom network service provider. Then the project should be to expand the SMSC network. And they will assign a project manager name. Okay, this person should manage this project. And then they will put the budget which is allocated. And if a statement of work is already received from the operator, then a brief of that statement of work should be put in the project charter as well, so that the project manager who is going to initiate the project, he has some idea that okay, as part of the project, he has to deliver these things. So the good thing in the statement of work is that it gives you what you have to deliver, but this same thing can become a bit bad as well, because if a statement of work is using some vague terms, because you can very easily put, for example, if I'm an operator side and I want to save my side, that okay, I don't want to leave anything, maybe something, I can put a statement in the statement of work that anything which is not part of this statement of work should also be provided by the vendor. So these kind of statement, these are always in statement of work, because I have seen them in the contracts of almost all the operators. Because operators use these to safeguard their issues. For example, if you are running a project and during the project you came to know that some essential part is missing, then on operator side it becomes a big problem. I mean that from where we will get this part. So they put some vague instructions in the some vague statements in the statement of work. But the vague statements can easily go on any side, because okay, you put one statement that okay, anything which is not covered should also be provided. But in a whole project, you have to provide a whole project document. Like for example, an operator is giving a very big project. I mean, he want to roll out a whole new network, or he want to upgrade his complete network. So he make an RFP of, for example, 4-5,000 pages, and the RFP contains too much information that even a single or 2-3% cannot read it or understand it easily. But there are some documents which are very much of concern, like the same statement of work or responsibility matrix, how the processes should run. So even though you put a vague statement that okay, anything which is not part of this project should also be provided, but if you don't put exact procedures that how that provision should be done, then you then you are still, this statement is of no use to you, because a whole contract is should not be, I mean it cannot be left like this, that you just put things with open end, like you have put a statement but there is no other statement which tells you that how this work should actually be done. So a statement of work is, that is why it's very important. And um, it should be written in such a way that whoever reads it, he knows very well that what has to be done. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of documents, a lot of contracts, they have one more statement as well. This is a statement where some things are not part of the project. You define those as well. Like for example, if you are doing a telecom project, and as a part of project you have to build a site. So you have to build, for example, a site with the 2G, 3G, 4G or 5G network. Then it is very clearly mentioned that leasing of site or doing the renting of the site is not part of the project, or it is part of the project, because leasing, renting are again, they are very big things. I mean, they need a lot of money and a lot of coordination. So a, a good project, if it has a statement of work, then it has one more document where you define the things which are not part of the contract, so that when you reconcile these two documents together, then the things become very crisp and very understandable for you, that okay, as part of this project we have to deliver these things, and we don't have to deliver, I mean there are some things that are not required to be delivered. So as I told you, the statement of work, it's basically as per PMI guidelines, it's used in two parts. It's used in your initiation of the project as well, to make the project charter, and then you use it in the procurement, because all the procurement is done as per the statement of work. For example, if you have a network expansion and you have to deliver some hardware, then a statement of work should have a list of the hardware that has to be delivered. Then if you have to deliver some software, then the software should also be separately mentioned, because it, as I told you, that statement of work should not be made vague. I mean, we cannot, for example, in a statement of work, if we are asking for 5 laptops, then we should mention separately that these laptops should have these specs. For example, they have Windows 10 Pro version, or Windows 10 Home Edition, or this has Windows Server Edition, I mean, or for example, this will have a Linux server. So these things, we you should not assume anything. I mean that, for example, if I'm asking hardware, and I assume that if someone is providing a hardware, then with the hardware he should provide operating system as well. He should provide an antivirus as well. No, we cannot assume. We cannot make it vague. I mean, for example, if you don't write it here, then you cannot ask for it as well. If you will ask it, but it has a cost. You write, I need 5 laptops. Any person who is responding to your document, he should just quote you, because those people, they also want to quote the minimum, I mean, because everyone wants to win the project. So if someone will quote a hardware with all possible softwares, then maybe some software, their cost is too much high. So some software, they are more costlier than the hardware themselves. So why should someone quote you a software when you have not explicitly asked for it? So that is why in the scope of work, you should ask that, okay, I need this hardware, I need this software, then I need licensing for how many years. In my one of my previous lectures also, I had mentioned the word licensing very in a separate, like a separate thing, because what I have seen, like in 3 or 4 networks around the world, I see that they bought some very good thing. Like for example, I was in Dubai. We were working on a uh, network network inventory management system. It was a very good system, but what happens, they forget to put the licensing fee as part of the initial BOQ. And when first year was finished, and then the software was, you can say, software stopped working. And then when we asked, and we came to know that they forget the annual renewal of the license. And when they checked with the vendor, he tried to make a lot of money from that. He asked a very too much high price. So a very good thing which was bought, and for 1 year people worked on it, a lot of time, hours, everything was spent, and then it was scrapped just because the company do not have the budget for the license renewal. So when you are working on any project, these things are that which differentiate a simple planning with a good planning. Both of the people who were working, they were planners. I mean, they did a good planning. I mean, sometimes you miss something by mistake as well. But when you are doing something and you have some procedures, you have some good understanding of things, then what you do is that you generally then you don't miss a lot of things. So if we know that as a part of SOW, if we are making SOW, then we should consider every possible thing, like the cost of hardware, the cost of software, cost of renewals, how the installation will be done, what should be the operational issues, do we need anything special to launch this hardware, does this hardware requires some special people to handle it. This is also one very, you can say, if you want to run something, there are some softwares that not everyone can. Like for example, if you want to do a project of putting SAP in your organization, then you cannot just put IT guy and ask him to run SAP. I mean, the SAP is a bit different than normal IT. It's not like Microsoft Windows or Word. Or so, for example, if you are putting somewhere Microsoft Word, you don't ask anyone that I need special people for this, because everyone, he will work on Microsoft Windows or Microsoft Word with very small guidance. But if you are putting some specialized software, then you need some specialized people as well, because everyone is not able to run that specific software. So when you are making a SOW, then all these things should be in your mind, that okay, my SOW should have these 5 major categories, for example. It's it's hardware, software, licenses, then whatever. Then after major categories, then we go inside those categories that okay, these are the minor things. For example, just I gave you an example of a laptop. I mean, for example, if we ask for a laptop, we should ask for the operating system and the required software as well. But again, if we are asking for a laptop and we just write a simple word that we need a laptop, someone can easily provide you a used laptop of very bad configuration. I mean, he can provide you a 386 or a 486 with 256 MB of RAM and hard disk of maybe 200 or 500 MB. And then when you ask him that it is not even working, I mean, what should we do with it? He says, I don't know. I mean, you ask for a laptop and you get a laptop. So once you are putting these kind of things, for example, you are putting a laptop. I'm not giving you an example from something very good. I mean, like for example, from a network type of thing, because those things are then more critical. I mean, if you are asking for some specific hardware, then you have to provide a lot of things. You even have to provide that what kind of software versions should be running in the network card, because you don't want to run a card with a old version of software because your remaining network is on some other version of software. So but this is an example that if you are making a statement of work, or you have received a statement of work, then you should get all of these ideas. And if you are working from a vendor side, then it's better that you educate your operator, because educating the operator will help you. Some people, what they try to do is that if they got some vague things in the scope of work, then they just try to use it to give you a very minimum or very low kind of offer. But that low offer is got very easily, and then either it makes you out of the uh, whole race of who will win the project, or if you win the project somehow, then it makes you and the company, both of them, they suffer during the project, because they make a wrong SOW and you make a wrong use of that SOW. So for example, if you get a statement of work from an operator through an RFP, and now you have to respond to the RFP, so it's better that you ask questions. You ask them to elaborate further, make it more precise, because making it more precise will help everyone that okay, this is very precise. So okay, it's almost 4:30. So I hope that this statement of work is a bit understood. The statement of work, it is called terms of reference as well. I mean, because sometimes some same things, they are used in some different uh, naming convention. There's a bit, if you go in very much detail, then there's a bit of difference between terms of reference. Terms of reference generally are more towards the services, and the statement of work is more generalized. But as per PM BOK as well, you can use these two words interchangeably as well. If you are contracting for any services, then generally you call it as a term of reference. And if you are buying both services and hardware and more things under the same project, then you can call it a statement of work. Statement of work is, you can say, a more better name. It's a more legal name as well, that because it's a statement that shows you that what work is part of this project. So let's finish it here.